As we close Shirley's story, we've been thinking a lot about unfinished chapters. Because through telling her life and the crimes that surrounded it, other doors have quietly opened.
One of them leads back to Joan. Her murder was never solved. The questions never really left.
Over the years, one name has surfaced again and again. He has never publicly shared his version of events. We don't know if he ever will. But when he's ready, we are here.
If he chooses to speak, to tell his story, we would listen.
We would all listen. Because that's what this podcast has always been about.
The truth.
Wherever it leads.
Some stories are still waiting to be told.
And if that day comes...
And when that day comes,
we'll be ready. But before we look forward, we need to take a look back to the woman who started it all. This moment is about Shirley. I'm Amanda Fallon, and this is the Shirley You Can't Be Serious podcast.
Hey, Mandy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Guess what? We are wrapping up season 1 of the Shirley You Can't Be Serious podcast. And I was just calling to get your thoughts. You've been there with me through all of this.
Oh, yeah. It's been like from the very beginning when you were not even interviewing her, you wanted to interview her. You remember?
Yeah, back in 2018 when we were at Best Friends down in Kanab. And I just had this sense of urgency to start recording her stories, not knowing, what I was going to do with them.
Uh-huh.
In the beginning, it was the idea that, I'd help her write her memoir.
Oh, I should get you to interview Teresa.
Yeah, Teresa would be good.
Yeah. All the people who lived with us, she helped change lives, How Donald calls me dad and her mom, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Bueno.
Hi, Teresa. It's Mandy.
Hi, Mandy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And you? How is the niños doing?
Oh, they're big niños now. Joshua is 19 and Emily is 17.
Oh, can you believe it? Oh, my gosh.
No, I still can't believe it. Yeah, my dad was like, you need to call Teresa because she has so many good stories. And I'm actually sitting here with my boyfriend he's helped me put this project together, and he speaks Spanish.
Oh, perfect.
So I don't know if that's easier for you, but he can explain a little bit more, and then you can feel comfortable, responding in either Spanish or English.
I prefer my Spanish.
Okay, that's what so we're going to have, his name is Josh.
Okay, I'm glad that you have a boyfriend.
Thanks, Teresa.
I pray for that, Aw, that's so sweet. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Shirley would have loved him, too. They have the same, wit. They would have gotten along great.
Hello, Teresa.
Hola, mucho gusto. Sí, a sus órdenes.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Sí, yo soy el que le mandé los mensajes en español.
Josh and Teresa spoke for a while, and he explained to her that I was working on Shirley's memoir. She shared many heartfelt experiences and sacred memories of her time in my parents' home. We did persuade her eventually to speak more English. Here are some of her thoughts.
I have many great memories from during the 5 years that I lived with Steve and Shirley, sharing countless moments, both ordinary and extraordinary. I lived in the house of this couple, and both of them during those days remaining steadily kind and supportive. Steve, the husband to a person who was very, very special in life to me, a person whose presence stood out and left a lasting impression. For her as much as for me, she never refused to lend me a hand in anything I needed, starting with emotional and spiritual support. Their financial support and the support from them, they have practically adopted me as their daughter. That is how I felt, and that is how they treated me with that tenderness, with that attention, with that love. I had lost my mother, and I still carried the sadness inside me. I was crying, and Shirley comforted me. That won my heart automatically. Then they even came to Sonora, Mexico to meet my daughter and my granddaughters, for whom I have always dedicated myself. My daughter has always had a hard time, so I would travel to Mexico regularly to help with her girls. Shirley knew this. Shirley always offered to help with them. Shirley even would give me rides. Shirley and Steve have been angels from God. I met Shirley long ago. My son had just gotten married. Things were difficult financially for all of us, so I lived with him and his new wife. I felt I was imposing and tried to stay out of their way as much as possible. I lived with them for a short time, and then I was visiting an acquaintance and noticed they had a small room in the back. It was a small little house where you would store tools and small machines. They agreed to let me live there, and I would pay them every month. One day, a man came to the house and saw me parking on the side and going to the back. He asked me who I was. He told me he was the owner of the property and was angry when he found out the renters were charging me to sleep in the shed. We talked for a while, and in the conversation I found out he was the grandfather of my daughter's girls in Mexico. He told me I didn't have to pay anyone to live in the little house. When he sold the house, Shirley and Steve bought the house. One day, Shirley came out to see me and looked around my room. I had a bed and a table and a toothbrush. We talked for a while, and I told her about my life. When I came back later that day, Shirley and Steve had left me a key to the house, a key to the main house. They prepared a room for me. They took me in as part of the family. I had my own room in their house. It was a very pretty room. I cherished it. I cherished the people that provided it for me. I would offer them money for electricity or bills or rent. They would accept it. Then I would come home and the money would be sitting on my bed. I got to know them very well. For Easter one year, she gave me a crucifix that I still keep with me and have as a constant reminder. I take it everywhere I go. It was a sense of comfort, even recently, when my son also transcended. It has been a source of deep sorrow, but I know he is now with my second mom. One night, Shirley and I were talking, and she asked me if I believed in angels. At that time, I told her I only really believed in Jesus. At that time, God chose to introduce me to his helpers, the angels. It was precisely in that bedroom at Shirley and Steve's house that I saw my first vision of angels. One night, I was lying in bed and I saw an angel. It was such a large angel that it filled the whole room. I couldn't tell if it was a dream or reality, but what I did know is that God sent the angel to me to show me he has angels surrounding us and protecting us, but I wasn't scared. God has continued to place angels in my life, and one of those angels is Shirley. I truly love her from the depths of my heart. I will always have her with me. My time with Shirley and Steve set me on a path of spiritual growth. Having them bless my life made me want to be the kind of person God can use to bless the lives of other people. That is how we show gratitude. The last time I spoke to Shirley, I went to see her and she was in a wheelchair. She told me very calmly, "Teresa, I am ready to go. I'm ready to go be with the Lord." 2 weeks later, I was in Green Valley and was running errands. I was at the car wash close to Shirley's house, and I heard a small voice whisper in my ear to go see her. And I thought, I just saw her. I heard the voice 2 more times and didn't listen. This was on a Friday. On Monday morning, Mr. Steve called me while I was driving to Nogales and told me Shirley had passed away. I felt I would lose my mind. I was inconsolable. My mom, she was gone. Even at Shirley's memorial, I expressed this regret. I felt God was giving me an opportunity to go say goodbye to my Shirley while she was alive, and I was a disobedient daughter. I know now that was the voice of God. He was speaking to me. I learned so much from Shirley. I learned about life and Jesus and service. Shirley told me she had been in bad relationships. So when she met Steve, she had made a list of things she wanted in a partner. She shared it with me. Steve has all the qualities she listed. She said she wasn't sure about Steve because he was younger, but God told her he was the one. They were an amazing couple and meant all the world to me. They were perfect together. I felt so blessed I never betrayed their trust. They would leave and go on vacation. I would stay and take care of the house. They would go see their grandkids and visit Mandy. I would stay and clean and take care of things at home. God, He sent me 2 angels on my life, my mom and your dad. And I say thank you, Lord, for these persons, and God bless her family and her daughters, her son, her grandsons. And I just want to say thank you for everything they do for me. They do a lot of things in my life. That's it.
Well, that's very beautiful, Teresa. I remember going and visiting with Shirley, especially when the kids were little and you were living there. And Shirley was always so excited to give me an update on you and your daughter and the grandkids and just, tell me how everything was going. She really, really treasured you as a really, really close friend. She loved you. She thought the world of you. And I told Josh to tell you, she told me about this story of the angel that came to visit you in the bedroom. And Shirley would tell it to me like she was amazed. And then she goes, but you know what, Mandy? I've been praying every day for the last week that this angel would come visit me too. And so she was awesome. She was great. And you know what? She was my second mother too. So we shared that in common. Yeah.
Now I have 2 angels in the heaven, my mom and my son and my mom, and I have pain in my heart. I don't know who is more pain, my mom or my son. They're the same. I feel the same pain, but it's part of the life,
Yeah, hopefully it gives you just a tiny, tiny bit of comfort to know I'm actually pretty positive Shirley is with your son right now. So now she's watching your son.
It's true.
In heaven, yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you still go visit my dad. He loves you. I keep going and visiting him. He's really missing Shirley, so. But it was really, really nice to talk to you, Teresa.
Mandy, so nice to hear you.
Yeah, you too, Teresa. I'll talk with you soon.
Okay, say hi or your sister for me.
I will. I'll let her know.
Okay.
Okay, bye, Teresa.
Bye. Bye, mucho gusto. Cuida mucho a Mandy porque es una niña muy consentida, merece un buen hombre como el que Dios le ha enviado. Dios me lo bendiga, no le quito más su tiempo. Gracias.
Igualmente, Dios la bendiga.
Amén, amén, bye.
Bye.
Hello?
Sorry, I was just talking away, and then I realized you weren't on the phone, and my phone had dropped you. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay, so did my dad tell you that I made a podcast about Shirley?
He did. He told me that you guys had made a podcast, and he was like, you should be on it. I was like, okay.
This is Catherine. She was Shirley's neighbor.
The reality of our friendship is we met them. So we live out in Rio Rico. I don't know if you've ever been out here by the land that Steve has. They stopped by and they're like, oh, hi. We just bought the land back here. How do you guys like it out here? And I was like, is this a county? What's going on? So then we just started talking. And then I have 2 boys. Shirley was super sweet. She's playing with the kids and he's playing with her. And then Steve and Shirley are saying, we're going to build the house. Omar says, can we build a gate? I want to go over to your house all the time. And that's kind of the relationship we made. You know, the plan was that we're going to have a house. They thought it was going to be right across my house, which is nothing right now. It's just like little mountains. But either way, that we're going to have a gate and the kids were going to be there all the time. So that was our kind of like our first couple interactions. They would come to the land, they would stop here at the house and say hi to the kids. We never really got into like how many kids they have, like their personal lives. Our relationship was more like, hi, how are you? It's really nice to see you. Thank you for stopping by. And then they would play with the kids 2-3 minutes and then they would be out of their way. I remember Steve said that he was a realtor out in Green Valley, but that's kind of all I know about them. Shirley came once and she dropped off a book of butterflies, and I believe she said it was one of her grandkids. I know she was really excited. I think the thought of her having a house here, because it's so beautiful out here, the thought of her having a house here was really exciting for her. And I think my kids were part of that excitement. I think she missed her kids and the grandkids, but I think the idea of having these little ones run around was exciting for her. So every time they would stop by, my kids loved the interaction with them. But again, it was really short, like a 2 to 5 minute visit, and then they would be out of their way. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen Steve in so many years or talked to him. And then he stopped by on Saturday, and it was Omar's birthday. So I had him come in, eat lunch. But, you know, regardless, I think the interaction with both of them was just really genuine. It was, I think it was love at first sight. We really did love Shirley, and we really enjoyed every time they would stop by. Both of them, because Steve is really cool too.
So we have tons of interviews, tons of people talking about Shirley throughout her life, and what I'm doing right now is collecting her final years and just the interaction she had with people. I just interviewed yesterday one of her former first grade students who is 23 years old now, and she just talked to me about how Shirley left a big impression on her life. You know how you look back and you have that favorite teacher? Like Shirley was her favorite teacher. Yeah, she did. Okay, so I feel like she missed her calling. She would have been an amazing teacher. And talking to Eliza, her first grade student, I wish she had the opportunity to have done it her whole life. But what happened was after she retired, the Saharita Christian Academy needed some teachers at the Christian school. So she volunteered and she went and became a first grade teacher for 3 years.
Wow.
While she was retired. And then the school sadly shut down. So it was a super short period of her life right after she retired. So in her like mid 60s, she did it. But it was she loved it because she loved little kids. So listening to you talk about her excitement, you know, towards your own children, that is so Shirley.
That makes sense. Because back then, I mean, how many years has it been since she passed? What, 2 or 3 years ago now?
Yeah, it was September of 2023.
So it sounds like that's the period of time that she really, I remember her saying, I wish I had little grandkids. I miss the little grandkids.
Yeah, I've heard her say that a lot. So I have a daughter and a son. And then her grandson had a daughter. So she had a great-granddaughter, and then she had a couple granddaughters. So she had two granddaughters and one grandson. And she was, you know, when you think of like what a grandma should be, you know, when you picture like that, bakes cookies and reads stories and plays, like that was Shirley. So she was just awesome.
I can see that because she would come in here and play with Isabella. So, like I said, you know, the visits were very, very small. It was only a couple minutes, but it was like those 2-3 minutes, it was undivided attention to Isabella and Omar, because they would plan. They would plan how they were going to go over to their house all the time. And I can't remember she ever said dogs and cats. But I remember, like, I have those memories of her. Like I said, she brought a book to Omar, which was butterflies, because my little one loves animals. So she brought that book, and then she brought him a monkey. And until this day, my kid has that green monkey. So she was, like, very, very nurturing. So it sounds like, oh, I wish I would have known her like that, because it makes sense.
Yeah. I'm sad she passed away and they never got to build that house, because I do think you probably would have had a built-in babysitter next door. She loved little kids. I was very
devastated. I remember the last couple times that they came, she would tell me she was in a lot of pain, like her back would be hurting her a lot. And then I didn't hear from them for a while. And then it was like, oh, Shirley passed away. And I wasn't here. I was in Kansas. So that it was for me, it was a very hurtful moment, because it was like, how do I tell the kids? The kids would like look forward to those weekends if they would stop by, you know? So it was like when I told the kids, they cried, even though they didn't really understand, other than we're not going to see her anymore. She's not going to be stopping by, you know? So the kids were affected by that. She left that big impression in them, like the kids loved her.
Yeah.
So it was pretty sad. And up until this day, it's like, Steve told me he had sold a lot. And I'm like, no, why? You were supposed to be my neighbor. Like, I don't want nobody else back here. So the idea of like, he sold it and eventually, you know, a house is going to be built, I think that's going to hurt my heart, because I know they're not going to be here. So that sucks.
Yeah.
Yes, my kids definitely loved her for the person that she was. She was very, very loving. Our first language is Spanish. So the kids, being little, all we really speak at the house back then was Spanish. So, you know, the interactions between them in English was really, really cool. I mean, my kids are fluent now, but they had no problem understanding her feelings and her emotions and the way that she would speak to them. And all that were little, they loved her. She left something in their heart forever, I think, because like I said, we hadn't seen Steve in forever. And when I told him, I said, oh, remember Shirley? Oh, yes, where is she? Oh. And then Omar was like, she's with God now. I'm like, yeah, oh, okay. Hi, Steve, how are you? And almost on. But yeah, she was really cool. She was really amazing. And like I said, you know, Steve, we love Steve, and I'm so glad that he stopped by.
Yeah, he's been a key player in this podcast, just finding interviews. He's like our evangelist for the podcast.
My name is Catherine Gonzalez, and Shirley, she was part of my life. She was supposed to be my only neighbor, and we were very excited, so were my little ones, to have her be a part of not only a neighbor, but our family.
Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome, Andy. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
A small group of animal lovers in Arizona is proving that helping pets in need is the perfect way to serve the community. Here's a closer look at the work of Paws Patrol. KVOA's Frank Hansen has the story.
Founded in 2006 by 7 experienced animal rescuers, Paws Patrol has been hot on the paws of one big issue: community cat overpopulation. The nonprofit operates in Green Valley and focuses on keeping both neighborhoods and their furry residents healthy. Their main tool? A humane program known as Trap, Neuter, Return, or TNR. volunteers safely trap community cats, have them spayed or neutered, then return them to their outdoor homes. The result? Fewer kittens, healthier colonies. But the work doesn't stop there. The organization also educates pet owners about responsible care, and when animals need a second chance, Paws Patrol steps in to rescue, foster, and rehome adoptable pets, helping them find families who are ready to give them a forever home.
From rescue missions to education, Paws Patrol is proving that when it comes to animal welfare, teamwork really does make the dream work, paws and all. Thanks, Frank. You can get involved by visiting greenvalleypawspatrol.org.
This is Patty.
Hi, Patty. It's Mandy. I'm so glad we finally touched base. I know Shirley was involved with Paws Patrol for years.
She was. I can tell you a little about what she did for us.
Yeah, that'd be great. And maybe even just talk a little bit, too, about what is Paws Patrol.
Paws Patrol actually started with a group of 7 people that had done cat rescue work a good part of their lives. And what we had noticed down here in the Green Valley, Sarita area was that we were getting a lot of phone calls of people that were having stray cats on their property or feral cats on their property, and nobody down here could take them in. And so 7 of us started this organization called Paws Patrol. And the purpose was not to take in a domestic cat that somebody just couldn't keep any longer. There were other places to do that. But we would take in feral cats that did not have owners and were a wilder cat outside, or stray cats that didn't seem to have an owner and just needed a place to go. We were home-based. And then in 2015, we were able to get space in Green Valley to actually open a small facility, which still exists. What we needed were people that could help us trap some cats humanely, get them spayed and neutered and vaccinated, and if they were truly a feral cat, either find some barns or some businesses that needed cats to help with rodent control, or if it was a stray cat that could be tamed and just needed a home, then we needed to find homes for it. So we started out fostering the cats in our homes. It was centered initially at our house, and then we started reaching out for people to help us with this project. Shirley had the perfect personality for something like this. She was even keel, I guess you would say. She had a very friendly, very patient personality. She got along great with people. She didn't get flustered in a situation that a lot of people might, want to walk away from. If somebody had adopted a cat and was having trouble with it, she was always there to lend a helping hand and give them advice. With our tamer cats, the local Petco down here, we would have a couple cats in there during 4 or 5 days, and we would have people go in and clean the kennels and help with adoptions on weekend, and Shirley and Steve were great about doing that. Shirley was always great about being able to talk to people about specific cats and what their needs were and what their personalities were and what kind of home they needed. When we opened our facility down here, she was one of the first people to help us whatever day we needed to have the kennels cleaned. She answered the phones. She worked assisting people with adoptions. She eventually became secretary of our board. We started a calendar that was a fundraiser, and each month we would have cat or two and information about them and where they came from and if they had been adopted or what kind of home they needed. And Shirley took over that project, and she helped us choose the cats that would go in that calendar. She worked on all the publishing of the calendar. She actually put a book together on several of our cats, and then would reach out to people and say, would you write an article for this book on the cat that you adopted or the work that you've done with Paws Patrol? So there were just a lot of different things that she did for us. And because of her personality, one of the great things about her, we did not have too many young high school students working with us, but we had a few. A lot of us just didn't have a lot of patience working with kids. And Shirley was just perfect about that. So we would generally have students working on the days that Shirley was working in the office, and they got along really well. That was just a great personality she had. That's what I remember about Shirley.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember every time for about, at least 5 years, every time we'd go down to visit, and my daughter was little then, she's 17 now, but this was around the age of her being like 5, 6. She loved going to Grandma and Grandpa Shirley's house because they always had kittens for her to hold.
Yeah. She had a great room that she, had set up for fostering.
And it was the spare bedroom that we all would sleep in.
Yes.
So we usually slept in there with all the cats that she was fostering.
Yes. She just had a really good, calming way of being able to work with them. Mm-hmm. She always made time for us, I think, because she really had that soft spot for working with the cats.
Yeah, she loved animals. That's a common theme throughout Shirley's life, was she was always rescuing not only people, but animals as well.
Yes. She was a good resource for people who didn't quite know how to handle a situation with a cat, whether it was a medical situation that came up or, a personality issue. She was always good about giving advice and being able to help with that.
Yeah, I often heard your name a lot when we were down visiting. She'd be like, I got to run to Patty's house. Something I really loved about Shirley, too, was she was really resourceful.
Yes, and she was very good about being able to match a person to the right position that they should be helping out in, or match them to the right cat to the right person. You weren't going to walk in with Shirley and just pick a cat that happened to be there because you liked the color of it. If she didn't think that you had the personality that was going to match that cat, you weren't going home with it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember how you and Shirley met?
It seems to me that she started with us while we still had Paws here at our house.
Yeah, 'cause I do remember her saying she had to go to your house a lot.
Yeah, but I don't remember when that was, but it would have been after 2006.
Yeah, so I think in 2004-ish, she retired, and I'll never forget her telling me. So she ended up teaching first grade around that time, and I think she started volunteering shortly after with you guys. But I asked her, I was like, how's retirement going, Shirley? And she goes, I thought I was going to have all this free time. And she said she was busier after being retired than she was when she was working.
Absolutely. I think we all said that. We went from, working a 40-hour week or so, and there were times that we'd do a 50 or 60-hour week, but you enjoyed it so much more. You weren't being paid for it because it was all volunteer, but you had more fun. My name is Patty Hogan, and I met Shirley sometime after we started our cat organization down here, Paws Patrol. We're a nonprofit group, and it ended up being probably the best thing that we ever did, and a lot more hours than when we worked for a company. And that's sort of how we met. I am retired now officially and do some traveling in our RV with our 4 cats.
I love that. Thank you.
And those are all Paws Patrol cats.
Are they?
Yeah.
Do you know the number off the top of your head on how many cats Paws Patrol has helped throughout the years?
I don't off the top of my head, but I just saw that in one of the newsletters recently. I can text that over to you a little later today.
Did she know the exact number when she retired?
Oh, did you know the exact number when you retired?
No. I retired about 3 years ago, actually just around COVID time.
So Shirley, you know, she was super creative. She has these photo albums at home, and she has one dedicated to all the cats she fostered. It's the cutest thing. So she has a whole photo album of all the cats she had.
You know, we all were so proud of all the cats that would come through our houses, and we would have pictures of them and so excited when they would find a home. And one thing we always did at Paws Patrol was if you adopted a cat from us and for some reason down the road you couldn't keep that cat, the cat always came back to us. Those were the only domesticated cats that we took. We didn't take a cat from somebody that it didn't start with us. But our cats always came back home.
Yeah, it sounds like a great organization. I know Shirley really, really loved it, and she loved volunteering for it. Yeah, it sounds great.
My basic memories of Shirley were just always that perfect personality that she had, and how, you know, when you walked in her house and she was fostering cats, she was just cut out for it. She and anything that she could do to help raise some funds, you know, like doing our calendars, if she saw that there was a need that she could fill, she was on top of it. And that's really what I remember, is not one specific thing, but just how she was just the perfect person at the right time in the right place. And, you know, a lot of us, and me particularly, could get really flustered because, you know, there'd be a person that we were having trouble with the cat that they had, or we were having trouble catching a certain cat, or we were having trouble trying to get the right home for it. We were having trouble maybe with a particular volunteer, and any of us could get really flustered. And she just kind of took things in stride and worked through them. And it was always nice having her around because she was such a calming influence.
Yeah, that's really nice. If you, as you listen to the podcast, you probably know that she had a very colorful life.
Yes. And I didn't know any of that, so I was really surprised.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm sure it is really surprising to you. We're on the website right now. We just pulled up the Paws Patrol website, and it shows that
the year she retired, it was 97.1 was the live release rate.
Oh, wow. Yeah, in the year you retired, in 2023, your live release rate was 97.1%.
Yep.
And you guys took in 4,960 cats.
That sounds about right.
And you returned 2,694 to colonies and barns. And then the 2,155 were adopted.
There you go. See, I didn't have to get the information for you. How about that?
That's impressive.
Yeah. And I know this year they have just had a slew of kittens. Out here, they're born all year round. So you're still finding kittens outside in December and January, and it just never stops.
Yeah, I remember that because we would come down for Thanksgiving, so in November, and she always had kittens, and some of these kittens were really tiny. Like, she was bottle feeding them. They were tiny.
Yes, and she was very good. I was never really good at bottle feeding. I just didn't have the patience for it. I did it when I had to, but, you know, there's only so many nights that you can get up all night long, and then your body says, you know, I really need some sleep. And she was just really good at that.
Yeah, she was, I miss her a lot. She was really special. How can our listeners support Paws Patrol?
One of the best things is if you go on their website, they have a listing on supplies that they always need donated. They have a list available through Chewy. I don't know if they have one through Amazon or not, but they do through Chewy for supplies and special food that they need, and particularly around kitten season, formula and various kitten supplies. They're always looking for funding for veterinary bills. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And they always look for volunteers. So anybody who's living down in the Green Valley, Sarita area, who's got some time to volunteer a couple hours a week, or to foster cats. That's something they always look forward to.
Yeah, that's awesome. We just pulled up the Chewy link on the website. So that's awesome. That's great to know, because that means people can help from all around the world.
Yes.
Patty, it was really sweet talking to you. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I think you all have done a really good job on pulling all of this together, and truly losing her, I think, was a big hole for anyone that knew her. It's not a position somebody else can walk into and fill.
I know. I wish she was still here to listen to the podcast and hear what everybody has had to say about her. I think it would have touched her.
She would probably be very embarrassed.
Probably. Well, Patty, thanks again. And please feel free to reach out if anything pops into your head that you'd like to share.
I will do that. And thank you for all the work you're doing.
Yeah, thanks. And enjoy your RV and traveling with your cats.
We will do that. We load them up again this next week, and we're off again.
That's awesome. Well, safe travels. And thanks again,
Alrighty.
Patty.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello?
Hi, Eliza. It's Mandy.
Hi, Mandy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm glad we were able to set this up.
Yeah, that's so cool that my dad ran into you.
Yeah, it was like totally kismet, because it was actually like the last day that I was there. And so it was just like perfect timing.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is, so Shirley taught first grade for a couple of years.
Yes.
And she loved you guys. And I remember her saying the classes were pretty small. There was only like, maybe 9 or 10 of you guys in first grade. And she just would talk about you guys like you were her own children. And she would like show me the book she was making you. And
yes. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I was part of her first grade class.
Okay, I do remember hearing your name.
Okay.
So when my dad said he ran into you, I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah, and so it was like I was a first grader, and then her first time being a teacher to first graders, so I always remember that. I'm not sure if your dad shared with you, but my husband and I actually moved back from New York City, and we just bought a house, and I started a new job, so it's kind of been all over the place. So seeing your dad was just like, I don't know, it was like awesome, because I felt like I was coming home to my roots, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking a lot about this. Miss Shirley was always my favorite teacher. And whenever anybody would ask me that, I would always say my first grade teacher, Miss Shirley. And I think one of the biggest memories I have of her, and so does my dad, is Miss Shirley being tall. And I know it sounds silly, but I'm 5'9", and I was always the tallest kid in my class. And sometimes I got made fun of, and I was also the tallest kid out of the 3 of my siblings. I'm taller than my dad, taller than my mom. And Miss Shirley always complimented my height, and she always said it was like, models are tall, they're beautiful. I remember her telling me that, and that it was a good thing to be tall. And it just kind of always gave me a lot of self-confidence. And she really reassured me, and she poured into me a lot, definitely. And I always related to her because she was tall. And just when you're a little girl and you're 5 or 6 years old, that means a lot to you. And so that was definitely one of the memories about her I hold nearest and dearest to my heart, is that first of all, she was tall, but then also she always encouraged me and like poured into me and my character, and was just so positive with me. And I started thinking more about like specific memories I had of her. And I remember she had us do show and tell in the first grade. And I, unlike most of my peers, my dad, he worked construction. And so he was out doing jobs a lot of the time. And he would go work in California for extended periods of time. And he would always bring home like a magnet or a toy. And he worked in Northern California for a while. And, he visited like the tomb of the original Smokey Bear and brought me back a short story. And it was a short story, but it was probably like 4 pages. And I remember I was so excited and I told Shirley and I wanted to read it so bad, and she never discouraged me. Like she was like such a cheerleader, and she made one Friday, I remember nobody else got to do show and tell. It was just me, and she gave me that Friday and read everyone the short story about Smokey the Bear that my dad had brought me. And it's just like, that's such a memory for me because I just felt heard. And everything that was special to me, like she took very seriously and wanted it to be special for her too. And other than that, there's just a lot of such small memories that I remember every holiday. So like Christmas and Thanksgiving, and at the end of the year, she would give each of her students a personalized book with a story about them with their name. And I still have those books. And it was just, again, another way of her pouring into us as her students, but also just making us feel so special and giving us a great sense of self-esteem. And that really went beyond because, you know, she always reminded us about the Lord and like how in the eyes of God we were so special and how much he loved us. And she laid a lot of that foundation down for me personally, for my faith. Because when I was younger, if I ever felt down about being, I don't know, tall or something silly, like that was my seated foundation, was the love of Christ is over me. And so I'm eternally grateful to her because she helped me walk in the ways of the Lord since I was like 5. And just everything. When my little brother was born in the 1st grade, she gave me a little toy and she gave me a little book about Junie B. Jones when she had a little brother. And she was just so ingrained in our lives and she just went above and beyond to make us feel so, so special. It was never boring in her class. And she was tough on us too. I remember I think I was one of her favorite students. That's what your dad said too. But she was also tough with me, you know. She also told me, you know, that my handwriting was too messy and that I had to get better, and she'd make me sit in a corner and practice my cursive, and I still loved her. Like, she had that tough love that a lot of teachers aren't that great with balancing. So she just gave me this incredible foundation and reinforced kind of what my parents were trying to raise me in, which was the ways of the Lord and a lifestyle and adherence to the laws of God. And like Shirley really reinforced that in my life. And aside from that, it was like not hard for me to believe that Jesus loved me because Shirley loved us. And like if Shirley took the time to write books for us and to read our short stories and to give us gifts and all of this, then how much more really did God love us? Like, why wouldn't we believe her if that's the life that she led? And yeah, that's just the biggest thing, was just how much she loved and poured into us.
Oh, I love that. I really, really wish she was here to hear you say all of that.
Yeah, and I know she knows how I feel, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, and I think she only taught, I don't remember it being more than 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And I do feel like that was one of her, I always tell people, I'm like, man, I think she would have made an amazing children's book author and elementary school teacher.
Yes.
So I'm so glad she had a chance, though, to like impact your guys' lives, because she was amazing at that.
Yeah, she was. There's really like nobody like her. Like when you met her, you just felt like she wanted to know all about you, and you felt safe and cozy. Like that's all I can really explain. Like, and you know, I was like 5 when I met her, and I'm 23 now. So for me to still remember, I think is a testament to who she was. And I kept up with her once I got older as well, because she lived across the street from my piano teacher. So I would see her like every Thursday up until I like graduated high school. And then I kind of, you know, you grow up and you move away and you lose touch. And so it was good to see your dad and kind of think about her again as I kind of start settling down in my own life with my husband and in a new house and things like that, and thinking about what's important to me. And she comes to mind because I want to be like her, if that makes sense. Like, I want people to, in me, see the love of Christ, which is really what I saw in her. Because you knew her better, but she was selfless. Like it's not convenient to sit down and write 9 children's books and keep track of when someone gets a new baby brother, or when it's their birthday, or when they move houses. And she took the time to do all of those things, and she truly cared.
Yeah, she was very much a part of all of your guys' life. I remember when my son was in first grade.
Yeah.
She had me so I live in Utah, and they were down in Green Valley. And she was like, send me a list of all the kids in his class. And he had like 30. And I sent her the list. I was like, are you sure? And she wrote a book about bugs, and she had all of them assigned to be a certain bug, like a ladybug or a bumblebee. And she wrote a book for his class, but I remember sending her the list, and it's Utah. And so some of the names were a little made up. so she ended up assigning some of the boys to be ladybugs and some of the girls to be like, I don't even, like beetles.
Yeah.
But it was so cute. But she still, she was amazing that way.
My name is Eliza Monnier. I'm 23, originally from Los Angeles, California. Now I work in finance, and Miss Shirley was my first grade teacher and my favorite teacher of all time, I think, at Sarita Christian Academy.
See if she answers. They might have lost electricity.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Well,
let me turn down MTV's ridiculously crazy show. This shit's funny. Oh my God.
This is my Aunt Patty. She needs no introductions.
So, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Are you surviving the once-in-a-generational storm?
You know what? I ain't got out of my jammies at all. We've been here just munching, and tomorrow a lot of businesses are closed down, and they're making it, some of them are closing down for like a couple days. Actually, we're going to get hit tonight. It's not going to be forgiving, let me tell you. We've already got some people without power and water, and we are all set. We got our generator, we got water, we've got drinking water, we got hot showers right now, good food, and extra propane and gasoline. I mean, and dog chow and bones. Miss Molly, she's been in her bed most this day. I asked her to come in, but I guess it's not that cold yet, or I don't know. She's all snug as a bug in a rug. But
she's a mountain dog. She likes it outside.
I'm outside right now. It sounds like rain out here, literally. So what are you up to?
I'm just calling because you listened to episode 13 today, and
I love it.
You liked it?
I really did. I got to hear more of what his thoughts and what he was thinking. See, the thing is I'm like, when are you guys really going to get into some meat and potato with these questions? And you guys have to others. But, you're getting to the family, his son, and it's like, you always wonder. And, my gosh, you are so clever, and so is Josh. Really clever on how to approach, perfect words in a way to ask. I'd be like, damn, man, you must have freaked out. Your daddy was on the front page. The radio said, TV, what the hell was you think? I mean, no, you guys are like, I know this, and you gotta, and it's like, you're easy, and your questions are, I don't even know the right word, but it's not bold ass like I would say. It's more like, okay, now we're building up. You definitely have to plan ahead before you ask these questions, but I really love it. I love it. I mean, I don't love that they went through that. I don't love that Shirley had to deal with that, but you know what? If it was some other woman, she probably would have shot him or herself or who knows what. But Shirley's like, oh yeah, well, we have stolen cars in our garage, and yeah, my kid was a bad boy, and Shirley was amazing, and so I really wish she was here. I have so many compliments to give her. I would have so many things to tell her that I'm very impressed on. You know, and both her and your dad have always given me compliments on being strong. Shit, man, I never had to go through, you know, with children in your life. She just kept it together, and it was meant for your dad to meet her because they are so much alike as far as God-fearing Christians, you know, and believing that it's all going to be okay, even when it's not. They're up to that point where it is okay. It's, you know, to me, I'm like, it's meant to be, but, you know, this stuff just blows my mind. I'm very proud of you, Mandy. Holy crap, man. I don't even, Josh, he's hearing all of this and he's dealing with but, you know, she was your stepmom and Ashley's too. And you have, ever since you've been a little girl, you've always been in the know and caring and concerning for others. It's like, oh, Aunt Patty, you know, just because you wrecked your car and you can't afford Christmas, well, you know, that was you at 5 years old. You know, we want you to be here for Christmas, you know, and it's like, what little girl talks to anybody like that, you know? And most kids 5 years old is like, oh, you ain't got me nothing? I'll forget you then, you know? It'd be like that. But I'm just so impressed. I just think this whole podcast has been an eye-opener for many single ladies that is out there, you know, wants to have their family, wants to have that forever dream of happily ever after. And you can get it as long as you just brush off all the bad stuff and carry on. She brushed it off while still being married, and I don't know how she did it. Honestly, I really don't know how I always thought she was naive. How could you not know? And I'm more of a street girl to understand and see, and I mean, let's face it, and man, she's the cherry on the cake. When you talk about a bomb-proof woman, I mean, I think I'm all that in a bag of chips, but she's the whole factory. I mean, literally, and so I think with Shirley, she's earned her wings a long time ago on this earth. And I'm very sad, but I'm very happy because that shows God has a plan. You just got to keep your eyes open. When you shut your eyes, that's where it stops. When you open your eyes, and you just keep on, you know, plugging for the better in humanity and yourself and your family and your friends. And oh my gosh, I'm just very amazed. And then here she finds Stephen Cargill. He was looking for his forever happiness, and you know, even though boobies was an issue, he found the full package when he met Shirley, and she wasn't quite ready. This time she is putting on her brakes. This time she made a list, and she told me about it and told me to do the same. And that's how I ended up with the most wonderful man in the world, Norm. Because I made a list like she did, and she made this list, and when she met your father, she told me what was on this list, and I was like, is Steve ready? But he was. He was ready. He was so ready. And when he met her, it was God's plan when those two met. Shirley, I think every day that God was looking after her. She wasn't one of them statistics. It just blows my mind. She was the sweetheart that was supposed to be. If it was me and him, Skaggs, I guarantee it would have been one or the other. And I fight, I don't flight. And that man would have been, I would have figured him out in a heartbeat. I would imagine, I know I would, because I wouldn't allow a lot of that absentees. And I'm going to be like, no, I'm driving. Yeah, it could be your truck or mine, but I'm driving. Or, you're in a plane. Oh, how exciting. I'm going on that plane trip with you. Man, it was just, God was looking out for her. Shirley, I can't say enough good.
Yeah.
I can't say enough good. And I miss her so much. Oh, I miss her. I didn't know half the stuff that was in this podcast. I knew only bits and pieces. I didn't know about her first husband. She would stop and start that story real quick because keep in mind, we were all gathering for Thanksgiving usually, having a great time at her house. And she's the hostess with the mostest plus. And she took on 2 daughters that were teenagers that she had no intentions on raising or helping out with. Here I am, the ex-sister-in-law of her husband. She opened her door and gave me a bed to sleep on and made sure I had the rides I needed or the things that would make me comfortable, and I didn't even know anything. This podcast is a mind blower. It's blown my mind. It's kept me, to where I got to know next. And I got to know, and these people, some of them are alive who knew or was related. And it blows my mind of hearing these radio stations and news reports live, all that audio of back in the day. How in the heck did you find that stuff? It's really amazing in your work when it comes to Shirley, that's for sure. Oh wow, she's amazing. But honestly, I wish if she was alive that I could sit down to make her talk a little bit longer, because that would have made her feel so much better. And Mandy, that's what you've been doing all these years, is you've been helping her out before she passed away. It's the awesomest form of therapy you could have ever given your stepmother. And I'm so glad you had her. I'm so glad you had her. And I'm so glad your dad had her, because you know what? He'll never find another Shirley. There's some people that are sky high, too high to match. Fortunately, he's had her, but unfortunately. So what do you want, you little stink? Go outside. Go on, go pee-pee. Snickers. Did you hear her little princess? I gotta go pee. Oh my God, it's freezing out here. Come here. Man, this stuff is starting to gather on the trees out here now. But when it comes to Shirley, there'll never be another. And your podcast, for being the first one ever, you and Josh together, you've helped out a lot of people, Mandy. And for myself, you've made me so proud. And you've seen this in Shirley. And you've asked the questions, and I don't want to get on Instagram. I don't want to get on too much crap. But I'm a YouTuber, so that works. So you put it out there for a lot of people, and that's amazing. That is truly amazing. Come on, Pony, you little stink. Come here, Pony Honey. God, my Pony, she's so good.
Yeah, I think Josh made YouTube just for you and Dad.
I'm telling you, Josh is amazing. I am so happy you met that guy. He is one hell of a man. He finds the time, and he's right by your side. And I think you two do a good drive for each other. Wow. I don't see him backing down on trying to make your dream of this podcast for Shirley to come true. My first podcast ever is Shirley, You Can't Be Serious podcast. You guys are very good at what you do. You really are. So, yeah, Josh, I thank him so much, and I'm so glad he's in our family. I'm so glad he's in our family. So I love you guys.
Oh, I love you too.
Oh my goodness. So much has happened around Shirley. You brought out of her some of the things I wondered about and so much more. But, that's how life is. It's not meant for everybody. It is. It's meant for you and Josh to do more podcasts and help people out more that way. But I'm so excited about the very last episode, more than all of it, because you're going to wrap up Shirley, and I cannot wait to see how you represent. Because knowing all I know, it's, man, crazy, murder, death, uncertainty, lies, deceit, all these things that surrounded her, but yet she is in the middle, and she remained sweet and honest and loving and caring, nurturing to everybody, and kitty cats too. Children, her grandbabies, your babies, just extended families, and I was that to her, and I felt it. Who does that? I mean, Shirley does. Shirley was that person. I love her with every inch of my heart. And I appreciate the woman who she is. And I just miss her so much. That's why I'm crying. I got a smile on my face and tears running down. My jammies are wet. But either way.
Okay. Well, it was nice talking to you, Aunt Patty. I'm glad you guys are surviving the storm.
Oh, I'll wait till the pictures tomorrow.
Yeah, send me pictures.
Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day and get on that podcast.
Okay, love you.
Love you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, Mandy.
So take yourself back in time, back in 2018 to now. What's that been? 7-8 years?
Yep.
For this project to end up, did you ever see it becoming a podcast?
Once you started, yes. Back when I thought, you interviewed her and all that, I didn't see it as reality. But once you started your first step, I did. I saw it good.
Yeah. And what do you think of it?
I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you for sticking through it. And I think she's lived an amazing life. A lot of people live amazing lives, but, she's one that we know, that we experienced. She's just a really, and honestly, Mandy, when I listened to the podcast, I thought, that's not Shirley. That's not the Shirley I know. No. Then she changed. So she changed immensely. And it's because of God. And I think our marriage together helped out a lot. Because she had someone with her that felt the same way and worshiped God and all that. Yeah. So I'm very proud of you, Mandy. I really am proud of you.
Good, because there might be a season 2. Yeah, Shirley's story, though, is coming to a close.
I was listening to Danny last night, and I'm a little surprised about Ed. Ed was a wild guy, wasn't he?
Wait,
Eddie?
You're still surprised by that?
Yeah. All I knew is he stole a car once, okay?
Well, and I think that's all Shirley ever knew. And Dan even validates that.
Yep, I think you should interview Ed again. He said he would, okay?
Yeah, that's the plan.
And I think he'll have closure with his mom. I really do. I'm going to be praying for that. Wouldn't that be awesome to have?
Yeah. How has he been the last couple of visits?
Oh, good. Really, we're really friendly with each other.
Has he talked about his mom at all?
No.
And
so I'm going to start prepping him. I'll start prepping him, okay?
Okay. You actually, Dad, I wouldn't have nailed half these interviews without you.
That's okay. Well, I knew Shirley. I knew all the people. I knew her life.
You're the official liaison for the Shirley You Can't Be Serious podcast. But
yeah, a lot to thank. Josh helped a lot with this. A lot.
Oh, he put it together and brought it to life.
Yeah. Tell him I'm very thankful to him for doing all that he did. Because I know he was working and he had all kinds of things on his plate.
Yeah,
So,
I'll let him know.
Okay.
But yeah, so just quick question before you go. The big question. Okay. What are your overall thoughts on the podcast?
I'm amazed. You do what you have to do to get through. And so I just look at Shirley. Her life is, is complete. It was really started off rough. Even in childhood, started off rough and ended up really good. So that's the neat thing.
Yeah, she kept going and she found her.
She didn't give up. Not on the kids, not even on Crane. I understand Crane a lot more now.
That's one of the things I set out originally. I had this question that I wanted to get answered once I heard her stories. One of the major questions was, how does someone stay with their husband after he's committed such a crime?
Well, and then what was your answer?
I mean, you look back, it's everything, right? It's in her entire, from her childhood to her first husband, all the decisions she was making were from her lived experiences. And unless you lived the same life Shirley lived, you
wouldn't understand.
You won't get it. Yeah. But once you take a step back and you realize, oh,
well, you know what?
That kind of all makes sense now.
Yeah. That story about Eddie getting burned and how Ed, his father, just lashed out at him. There was no talk of Shirley. It's like, where was Shirley? She was there, but where was Shirley? She wouldn't even stand for that. If she was the age she is now, later on in life, he would have defended Ed, take him to the doctor and all that.
Yeah, and that's something I wish. There's a lot of questions I wish I could go back and ask her that I didn't ask her at the time, just because I didn't know until we sat down with Eddie and got those stories. And I think my perception of it all, in interviewing and listening to Shirley, listening to Eddie, and being a mom myself, I almost think she was operating from a mindset of it could be worse. Listening to you tell me that he always, Ed would always pull a gun out whenever they were arguing.
Oh, yeah,
like,
all
was
the time.
Shirley protecting the kids from something far more gruesome? Like, was she actually keeping the peace? We don't know. Like, it sounds like Ed had a horrible temper. Who knows what was going on in Shirley's mind?
Remember, she kind of almost defended Ed?
I mean, I definitely don't think she liked it. But I think she was a product of her time too, and that's something else we have to keep in mind. There wasn't a lot of options for divorced women.
And, well, she worked, so she could have done it. But,
Yeah, but when you take a step back and look at how society would have judged her and even the religion she was involved with. So I think a lot of women stay just from the pressures of society and religion. And that is just what you were supposed to do. That's just how life was.
Yeah. Oh, and she was really into the church back then, too. So that was sad. No, but I'm very proud of you for starting it and finishing it.
Thanks. It was an adventure for sure. And to be honest, I mean, you were there when I shelved it twice.
Yep.
And I was like,
Yeah, we have a lot to be thankful to Josh for that.
Yeah.
I think he inspired you and he helped you get it all together.
And yeah, that final big push was.
He just chimed right in and volunteered. I mean, basically, it was like a godsend. No coincidences in life, Mindy. No.
I believe
you were
that.
meant to meet them.
Well, thanks for your final thoughts. As we wrap up.
Is Josh there?
Relax better. Yep, he's here. He's listening.
You're talking about old man Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I think Shirley was an amazing person. I was so blessed to have her. And what's so special about her was she treated you, Ashley, and Matt as her own kids.
Well, I think that's why it worked so well.
Yep, and I did that same thing for Ed and Crane. And we were perfect for each other. God knew what he was doing. I think I already told you this. We both made up our own list of what we wanted, and she never put on there mechanic because she thought all men were mechanics. Or a barbecue guy. I was not a barbecue guy. She just assumed all men were that. So the two lists were like amazing. exactly what we got and what we were, So no. Yeah, I'm getting to the point where God has to bring someone into my life. Yeah. But anyways, I love you guys.
Okay. Well, love you too. Have a good day.
Bye.
When I started this podcast, I thought I was telling a true crime story. Somewhere along the way, I realized we were telling something much bigger. For 7 years, we followed the shadows, the headlines, the courtrooms, the history that most people only see in black and white. But behind every headline is a life. And behind this one was Shirley. She wasn't just part of a story. She was my stepmom for 23 years. She was an amazing grandmother to my children. She was a woman who loved loudly, loved fiercely, and showed up. The crimes and the history matter. They shape the world she lived in, but they don't define her. What defines her are the everyday things. The resilience, the stubborn streak, the unforgettable meals, the advice, the countless card games, and the memories only family carries. This podcast began as an investigation. It became a memoir. And tonight, it ends as a celebration. We've spent hours tracing facts, revisiting darkness, piecing together timelines, and what remains, what always remains, is love. Telling her story changed me. It challenged me. It made me face fears I didn't know I was holding. It gave me a deeper understanding of people, of how complicated we all are. I don't see family dynamics as black and white anymore. You can't. We are all too interwoven, too shaped by one another, too human for simple categories. 7 years of research can tell you what happened, but only love can tell you who someone was. Shirley was deeply loved. And to everyone who listened, who shared memories, who stayed with us through the hard parts, thank you for helping hold her life in the light. Shirley, thank you for the years, for the stories, for the love. Shirley, you can't be serious, but the stories were, every single one of them. Shirley Jean Cargill, April 6, 1944, September 12, 2023. In lieu of flowers, the family kindly requests donations be made to Paws Patrol in Shirley's memory.